Good morning. I'm Interim Superintendent Eric Carter. I'm here to brief you on the tragic loss of a department member this morning. At approximately 1:42 this morning, we received a call of alert for shots fired in the 8100 block of South Blackstone. Responding officer responded. Responding officers responded and found one of our own suffering gunshot wounds. The officer picked our officer up, put him in the back of a squad car, and immediately brought to University of Chicago Hospital, where she succumbed to her wounds early this morning. Right now, it's very preliminary. Not much information is known, but shots were fired. The officer was brought here and unfortunately pronounced several hours ago. The investigation is still early on, and until we have more, we will update you. But right now, we ask that you keep the officer and her family in your prayers, as well as the men and women of the Chicago Police Department who sacrifice everything, including their lives, on the line for this city every day. So we ask that you keep us in your prayers and keep them uplifted, and please thank an officer if you see them while you're out here for the hard work that they do each and every day to protect this city. And with that, I'll introduce Mayor Lightfoot for a few comments.
It's unfortunate that we're standing here again today to talk about another tragedy that has befallen one of our bravest citizens. I had an opportunity to speak with the family of this officer, who, as you might imagine, is completely shattered. I won't speak for the mother, but I can tell you that she poured everything that she could into her child. No mother wants to wake up to the tragic news that their child is dead, and dead to something as awful and tragic as gunfire. It goes without saying, but I've directed the superintendent to spare no expense to make sure that we find the people responsible for this and bring them to justice. Of course, that's cold comfort to a family that is now grieving and has to walk this journey of grief and tragedy that no family should have to walk, and certainly not under these circumstances. There are some who say that our police officers are not worthy of our respect. There are some who say that we should not be supporting and funding our police department. I would urge any person who holds that view to reflect on moments like this. As we walked across the street, I was reminded of the tragic death of Ella French, because she too was brought to this hospital. We gathered here with the media at that time. Our officers, and particularly our young officers, as this one was, give their life in service, understanding that this might be their fate. But still, they don the uniform every day. They go out to protect us. They run towards danger every single day. So folks in this city, we need to do everything we can to support our police officers. And as the superintendent says, if in your journeys today or tomorrow, or even the next day, you see an officer, thank them for their service, because they are deserving of our gratitude, but also they're deserving of our support. We've asked, on behalf of the family who made a special request to me, you will obviously undoubtedly learn the name and circumstances of the officer and her family. They've asked, please honor their privacy and media stay away. Please. I think that's the least that we can do for them in this time. Well, as the superintendent said, as this unfolding tragedy develops, as the department learns more information, they'll be happy to share it with you. But on behalf of the family, specifically at their request, I'm asking the media, don't go on their street, don't try to talk to their neighbors, don't knock on the doors, just leave them in peace today tomorrow. Give them the dignity that they deserve and the respect that they deserve in this moment of tragedy. Thank you.
Superintendent, what can you tell us about this officer? How many years on the force? 4th district?
5th District.
5th district.
3 years of service.
Female?
Yes.
Had she just gotten off work?
Yes.
Did you say how old she was?
All right, any other questions?
Anyone else?
Mayor, I'm just curious. You have 9 days left in office. You've had to be at this podium, unfortunately, too many times. How has this just shaped you as a person, having to stand before us, knowing the sacrifices these men and women make every day?
Well, I think of myself as former law enforcement. I'm a former federal prosecutor. I've worked in this police department in the early 2000s. I saw up close the sacrifices that these brave men and women make every single day. No one quite understands, unless you are a police officer yourself, what feelings you have every day when you wake up and you put on that uniform, particularly the officers that are on the front lines every single day patrolling our streets. And unfortunately, we live in a time now where people who wreak havoc, these violent habitual offenders that need to be off the streets, they don't have any respect. And we've seen too many times, and over these last couple of years, a number of increases in the officers in uniform, in marked cars, they're getting shot. But when I got the call this morning, I wasn't just a mayor. I was a mom. I'm thinking about what the parents of this young officer would be feeling today. And as I said, I got the opportunity to spend time with a mom, siblings, and extended family members. And as I've seen way too many times, they're shattered, as you would expect. And that's why I feel so strongly. We can have a policy debate about certain things, but what we should not be debating is the heroism that our officers exhibit every single day. This is a tragedy that is going to ripple across the entirety of our department. Officers are going to be grieving yet again. And as you know, we just buried 2 firefighters recently. Our first responders in the city are doing the Lord's work every single day. And we can't forget that. I never will. And I hope no one, no resident, no citizen here will ever forget the sacrifice or take it for granted. We can't. We can't.
I do have a question for Superintendent Clare. I heard you guys saying find these people and bring them to justice. Do we have any indication who the people responsible are for what happened?
It's still preliminary investigation. I don't want to give away what we currently know, but we are working on it. Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? One last question?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.